Jason, growing up here and having played here, what can you say about this rivalry and what it means?
I think it's always a big rivalry game, Creighton versus Nebraska, obviously. But for me, just being from the state means a little bit more to me because I don't know. Like I've grown up watching both teams play, and now that I'm here at Creighton, it just makes me want to win the game that much more. So yeah.
After the Kansas City game, Mac said he doesn't think you guys understand what's coming in terms of how hard your schedule is going to be and the level you kind of have to be at too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
What did you take away?
What I took away basically what he said. Like we've had a few games coming up here. They weren't as tough as the schedule we're about to play. So I feel like in those games we had to kind of figure out where we wanted to be at, and we took some big steps, I think, but we still got a good ways to go. And so these next few games coming up for us will be pretty tough, but I feel like they're going to be great for us in order to figure out where we're at and figure out what we need to get better at.
Does the name on the front of the jersey extract some of that's missing, I guess? Like, does it help to center your focus?
Wait, can you specify?
Like, I don't know, having teams that are, better, more on your level.
Oh, right.
That they can beat you on there.
Right. I mean, I think that there are some teams that kind of play to the level of their competition. I don't think we're one of those teams. I think that no matter who we're playing, we're going to give them our best shot. And so, like, the games that are coming up for us are obviously going to be a little bit tougher. So we, as a team, just have to lock in on what we need to do and stay focused during practices and make sure we know what we have to do in our game plan. So.
How have you navigated the early season going on here? Obviously, you missed a little bit of time right before it started. Now you've kind of been moving around, filling in at different spots, different positions with kind of different injuries and guys missing out.
So it's been fun for me because I get to play in a couple positions that I haven't been playing in before too much. It's been a little bit challenging, just like learning all the different spots and different principles and what I need to do and when I need to do it. But it's been really fun because I don't know. I feel like that little bit of experience could be helpful later on if something similar were to happen where I need to play a certain position that we're missing out on in a game or something like that. So I think it's been really beneficial for me.
I don't know how much you guys have watched Nebraska so far, or you've watched them on your own. What's different about them this year?
I would say this year every year their defense is good, but this year their defense is really good. We've been talking about it during practice a lot, just like kind of what they do and how we're going to attack it. But I feel like the biggest thing for them this year and for us going against them is going to be their defense and how we handle it.
How much more energized is this rivalry with both teams cooking it the way that they have last year going into this season?
Right, yeah. I mean, last year we beat them at their place. The year before they beat us here. So I feel like there's going to be some pretty high tensions and people are going to be excited to see what happens. And I'm just really looking forward to it because I wasn't able to play here when we played them. So this will be my first time playing them at CHI. So I'm excited.
Jason, what is it about their defense? Is it the physicality? Is it the scheme? What is
I would say it's the physicality. Like last year, they blew up a lot of our handoffs and stuff like that. So we got to be prepared for that. And then also just kind of their defensive scheme and what they do and how we should react and prepare for that.
I mean, 2 years ago, they sucked the energy out of this building. What do you have to do to get the sixth man on your side?
Right, yeah, we just got to do what we do. I mean, we're going to have a bunch of fans here that are supporting us. And, they're excited to watch a good game. We're excited to give them a good game. And as long as we do what we're supposed to do, what we need to do, we'll have them on our side. We'll be good.
What's your earliest Creighton, Nebraska memory?
Oh, my earliest one. I'm not really too sure. I feel like the earliest one that I was really like a big part of was the one 2 years ago here, but I'd say that's what it was.
This rivalry should have like a trophy, and if you do, like what should it be? Is it big sports talk or what?
I feel like the trophy of this game is just bragging rights because we got Nebraska fans and Creighton fans all throughout the state, and whoever wins, it's usually just their year to brag. So, yeah, we just got to get it done.
What do you want to learn about your team over this next stretch of games?
I kind of want to learn just how tough we are and how locked in we can be on the little things because that's like a really big part of our defense is knowing exactly what to do and when to do it because we got a lot of little intricate details. And it's easy when you're fresh off the bench or when you're fresh just starting in the game, but as you get more tired and kind of just more tired, like how you're able to handle that and like if your toughness can kind of carry you through it or not. So I just want to see how tough we are.
It means a lot to the state of Nebraska. Definitely for Omaha, an opportunity to, take the pride of the blue and what Creighton is, and the fact that there's, they've got a great football program, but we don't have one, and so this is really the next biggest sport to compete against, and so it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely something that's important to everyone.
What's it going to be like for you and Raleigh going head to head after all these years in college basketball?
Yeah, it's fun. Obviously, we followed each other's careers, and we started off together in the same spot and then went both our different ways, but a lot of respect for him and his game, and excited to see him on Friday.
Were you guys roommates?
No, not roommates. No, we both lived off campus and in different dorms. With COVID at the time, there was not a lot of on-campus dorms or housing, and to keep us from, spreading all that. So it was a different time my freshman year.
When you're new here, like you were last year, older guys sit you down and tell you about this series.
I mean, not necessarily sat us down and talked about it, but I mean, from the fandom to just the preparation of this week and everything that goes into it, it's an important game and a big game. And, I also think with conference realignment and the opportunities to play, any squad in top-tier conferences is a big deal for all of us. And so it's something that we look forward to for sure.
Jasen said that maybe their defense was probably the thing that stands out about them most this year. Is that how you see it too?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it statistically, and they force a lot of turnovers, and that gets them out in transition and gets their offense really, really going. And I think you saw at the start of the St. Mary's game, they're never out of a game. They can definitely have their defense, bring them back into things and all of that. And so they're a versatile team, and obviously we're going to watch more film today and tomorrow to figure out the game plan and see what we want to try and do.
In a game of this, I guess, tension, there's probably more outside the lines than it is in between it, but how important are those scrappy 50-50 plays just to kind of, utilize the sixth man to its maximum ability?
Yeah, absolutely. I think getting this, this place rocking is a big element to what we want to accomplish on Friday, and those types of effort plays and, offensive rebounds and securing defensive rebounds, all those types of things that, the fans can feel the energy on the court, and I think that it just becomes even more palpable for us players. And so there's definitely an element to just the urgency that is required in games like this for sure.
Is it cool to see the men and the women fighting one another, just kind of have all of Omaha going with that rivalry?
Yeah, no, it's super fun, and it's going to be an exciting day in Omaha to have both games going on, and I hope all the fans, they're before us, so I hope all the fans make it out to that game and then come out to watch our game as well. And I know that we're trying to do a little doubleheader in here, but looking forward to that game, honestly, when UConn comes into town for them, and can't remember who our matchup is that week. Seton Hall, so going to be a good doubleheader in CHI that day, so it's going to be a fun day in Omaha.
To understand about what this Creighton-Nebraska rivalry is.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun for everybody. It's as I've said before, there's really nobody on the fence when it comes to whether you're a Creighton basketball fan or a Nebraska basketball fan, and that makes it fun. And obviously, both teams made the NCAA tournament last year, so both teams have been successful, and both teams are off to a good start. So it should be a lot of fun Friday night.
What was your favorite college basketball rivalry to play in as a player?
Well, when you're bad, you don't have rivalries, and we were bad.
Max, they have a lot of new pieces from last year, obviously. What stands out about them?
Yeah, and we have a lot of new pieces as well. I think their physicality, they start the two bigs, and obviously they're, scoring at the rim has been a challenge for the teams that have played against them. They've really done a good job of getting to the free throw line, so we have to do a good job of not fouling, which is really important to us. And then, I think the rebounding piece is something that they're doing pretty well as well. So, I think he's trying to figure out his rotations just like we're trying to figure out ours. He brings a couple of their best shooters have been coming off the bench. So, we got to be ready for about anything.
They go 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" on the perimeter in their starting lineup. You guys are obviously a little bit smaller than that. What's the key?
I don't know if they measure those guys on stilts or what, but Ashworth played with the point guard at Utah State, and I don't think he's 6'5". So But most teams we're going to play are going to be bigger than us across the guard court, especially. So, we have to use our speed. That's a deciding factor for us, and I think something that makes us a little different than a lot of teams is that our team speed is really good.
When you put this team together, was the speed, quick strike component of it something that was intriguing to you?
Yeah, it was part of it, certainly. If you're going to play two small guards, they have to be fast. And, Steven cuts with as much pace as anybody in the country, and obviously Pop's fast with the basketball and fast in transition. And, we've seen what Jemiah's been able to do in transition. So, we have to be able to attack quick and put pressure on the defense as quickly as we possibly can.
You have a brutal stretch ahead. Starting with this game, had a test in the exhibition in particular for you, but to have this first step, what are you looking at in terms of this?
Yeah, still, progress. Defensively, I think we've come a long way since that first game. I told all you guys that Texas Rio Grande Valley was pretty good, and now maybe you believe me, as they probably should have beat Wisconsin the other night. So, we've gotten better every game, and some of the things we've been stressing in practice, we're seeing a carryover on the game floor. So, that has to continue, and you take them one at a time. It's obviously a very difficult stretch, but the next one's always the most important one.
How much do you think the result 2 years ago here is going to factor into the fun and the atmosphere on Friday?
I don't know. I mean, there wasn't was Kalkbrenner the only guy here? Probably. Is anybody else on the team? Maybe. Mason? Yeah, Jasen was redshirted. So, yeah, I mean, it's that was a rough stretch for us, obviously. We didn't shoot it that well that night, and Nebraska does a great job of patrolling the paint and keeping you out of the paint. So you're going to have to make some perimeter jump shots. That's just a reality, and if you don't, you're asking for trouble.
Why did Jemiah's scoring last couple of games have been in transition, but have you seen his rebounding and playmaking impact the game over the last two?
Yeah, much better. And we want him to use kind of that elusiveness that he has in transition on the quarter court as well. And sometimes he's just holding that ball too long, and he just needs to attack and use his athletic ability and attack the rim and create for himself and for his teammates. But we need him to be a good rebounder, and he and I have had those conversations when we watch film. Because of our lack of size, maybe at the point guard and the off guard position, we need that spot to be a good rebounder for us.
How important is it to get off to a fast start, knowing that they kind of started slow?
It'd be nice to get off to a fast start just once. We're kind of 0 for 4 on that. And we've had some decent looks at the basket, and then there's been times we've turned it over early. Their defense is really aggressive. They're going to send you to the outside and come with double teams, and if you can handle that, you can get some good shots. But handling it is easier said than done. They've turned teams over at a pretty high rate this year. So, our ability to take care of the basketball early in the game, I think, is really important.
Been able to gauge with your team these last few days and their response to I don't know what you felt was maybe not really readiness for what's coming.
Yeah, Monday we had a good workout and went a little bit longer. Yesterday we just did some skills, and then we'll turn our attention to Nebraska today and tomorrow. But I think they get it. I think they understand where we're falling short. We watch film with them obviously after every game on an individual basis, and there's some progress being made, and then there's some situations where we're making the same mistakes over and over again. And if that's the case, that's on me as a coach to make sure we're doing more or doing something different in practice to get that point across, so that consistency shows up on game night.
Today, Coach Hoiberg said a bizarre thing about this rivalry is a lot of fans in here are going to be cheering for Nebraska football the next day. Is there anything else about this matchup that's special or unique for you guys as players, coaches, or even fans?
I think the fact that we're both at the the Power 5 or 6 level, whatever you want to call it now, has made it even better. When I first got here, we were in the Valley and they were in what the heck were they in then? I can't remember. Were they in the Big Ten 15 years ago? They were in the Big 12 when I was at Iowa State, so I get confused. But we were kind of the the little brother at that time, and now that we've elevated our program to the Power 5 level, I think it's great for the state. You have two teams, and like I said, it's that line is drawn pretty thick, and you're either on one side or the other, and it just it makes it fun. And obviously Nebraska football is really popular in our state, and a lot of our A lot of our booster base supports the Nebraska football program, and that's awesome. But they'll be in blue on Friday.
So one more. They can throw a lot of bodies at college. It's different sizes, 7'2", with Mia, Morgan's a little bit smaller, more physical. Burke, Boot and Gel is a little bit different too. How important is that going to be preparing?
Yeah, I mean, they have different skill sets. So I think it changes maybe more what we're doing defensively more than it will him on the offensive end. He's got to get deep seals and try to catch it close to the rim. Otherwise, those double teams are coming. So he's got to do his work early, and we've got to find him, on time and on target to get him the basketball because they're going to make that difficult. But defensively is where things change because Morgan shoots it better than the other two. So we've got to get to that when that happens.